Security 247 on LTV. Well, our guest still remains Roy, and of course, remember we have various security agencies here in Nigeria ever since independence. We have the police, the army, the air force, the navy, and the host of others, including various state security agencies like LATSMA and all that. Well, we're going to be looking at the various relationships between the various agencies per se, and how it affects the final citizenry, the likes of you and I. So Roy, let's flag it off this way. Can you name maybe 10 different security agencies we have that you notably have here, that you come across, easily come across, that the public comes across?
Well, thank you very much. You see, agencies are deployed according to their functionalities, and so many of them are federal and state. You know, we have the armed forces, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force. Then we removed force from the police. We now have paramilitaries. We have the customs, the immigrations, the prison services, the civil defense, NSCDC, you know, then coming down to state level, before you are talking about LASMA,
for legal
talking
states,
about CAI, and other functionalities that keep peace and all that. You know, but let me keep to your question.
Yeah. Well, Roy, now, what's the relationship now? We know, maybe based, like you said, functionalities, the color of the uniform, what they really do, the arms they carry. What's the relationship between the federal security agencies? Let's start with that before we now move to the state ones.
Well,
between the army, the police, though you see the forces out of the police, the army, the air force, and the navy. Is there a cordial relationship from your own perspective, I mean, your personal opinion?
Cordial relationships. When you talk about cordial relationships, you are talking about minimal conflict.
Yes, something like that.
Because even you and your wife at home, you have cordial relationship. You know, the tongue and the teeth, they say they have cordial relationships. You know, so when we are talking about cordial relationship, we are looking at the statistics of conflicts to assume that the relationship is cordial. And we are looking at how it was resolved when there was a conflict. Did they go back to their former flair, as in synergy and operational synergy? You know, but I will say the relationship in the federal armed forces is solid. The solidity of that relationship can tell over time Nigeria cannot be divisible. It is because of the fear of the unknown what the armed forces will do. You know, you can never throw out a question to the military and say you got the right answer. You know, so you have to be careful. That's why that click, that solidity has kept Nigeria together. So I would say the relationship is sound.
Okay, let's go a step further now. We're in Lagos here. We're sitting here in Lagos State.
Sorry, Chiefs, I'm going to cut you here. Last Sunday, our governor was inaugurated. I think we need to congratulate him.
Oh, yeah.
The entire family and the entire state for having another 4 years again with our governor.
Well, we'll say to His Excellency,
that's right,
in the person of PRF, a happy second return. A crime-free one, since the security program, and one without stress for the next 4 years. You should keep it up. He's done so much so far security-wise, and I hope that other state governors will emulate what he's done. Take a prototype from Lagos State and take a cue from there.
Sir, we're telling you that you've done well, but from our Facebook, we got so many people to tell us your performance, and everybody feel that you've done very well. So what we're saying again is that another 4 years is here, sir. Please, with you and your new team, that's going to be, they're going to swear in very soon. I mean, the commissioners. We hope that the next 4 years is going to be awesome. And with the Security 247, we got your back, sir. And we hope that we're going to work together. And today again, the ASFA Center have been inaugurated today, so we need to say congratulations to
all of them.
To all of them, and we hope that they give our governor a good backing, and a good support, so that this state can
for the
move
next
forward.
4 years.
Thank you.
Now, back to you, Roy. Now we're looking at now the relationship between the federal security agencies and the state ones. Now, you spoke about the armed forces, including the police without the force. Now, what's the relationship from your perspective within them and the states one? We're looking at Lagos State now in particular. You have LATSMA, you have the CAI Brigade, and you forgot to mention the Neighborhood Watch here in Lagos. Okay. What's the relationship between these security agencies owned wholly by the Lagos State government, and including the RRS, Rapid Response Squad, which is Lagos State government, though they are wholly manned by the police, but it's a Lagos State government-owned project, and the federal armed forces?
Well, relationships between these forces. The federal armed forces have dual responsibility. They are responsible for external and internal peacekeeping, and they are responsible for other states apart from Lagos. The forces, the security forces in Lagos State are restricted to operate within Lagos State alone. Now, if we look at relationship, I would like to say that the relationship is poor. I would like to say that the relationship is rough. I would like to say that it's not properly coordinated. The relationship is not properly coordinated. It's very, very porous and is prone to trigger a crisis at any time.
When you say prone to trigger a crisis anytime, in particular, because our viewers out there listening and hearing you now, you're a security consultant, which of the agencies are you thinking of? Are you thinking of LATSMA? Because LATSMA are always on the road.
Yeah.
Now, when LATSMA stops vehicles in their bid to manage traffic now, and some security agency comes up and believes by his nature, because he's a gazetted federal security officer, he feels this air of superiority and he ends up beating, assaulting the LATSMA officer. What do you think about that? Or what's your take on it, rather?
If you live in an estate where there are other residents and you want to keep a lion as a pet, you will consult. If I want to get a dog in my house now, I will consult. If you are creating LATSMA in Lagos State, you must talk to the other forces. You must let them know their functions, their do's and don'ts, who they should talk to, how they should talk to you. Then you get the LATSMA excellence, their management, to come into the barracks of the army, the barracks of the police, the barracks of the Air Force, and talk to them. They have forums. There are forums where you can come and meet the men. Then you talk to them, you tell them this is what we are bringing in. So when I'm driving out of Air Force Base or Keja Cantonment or wherever, and I'm flagged down, I brought him down. I say, please, officer, what have I done wrong? You say, okay, sir, you know, we told you people this. I'll say, oh, I'm sorry. You know, now I am carried along.
Okay, wait, Mr. Roy. Are you saying the public enlightenment that, you know, that has been carried on in respect of that particular agency is not enough?
You are carrying out public enlightenment.
Yeah.
And who is the public?
Public enlightenment.
Who is the
Yeah, who's the public?
The public is the officer when he has dropped his uniform. When you want to carry out enlightenment,
Yes,
you sectorize. You place the professional sectors. Okay, why did Fashola come out and start talking to the doctors, the lawyers, the bankers, and got this PPPRO and all this private partnership together and made it solid?
Okay.
You have to reach people in their domain.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't make it a general thing and put it on TV and maybe there was power failure. I didn't hear that, oh, there's now Kai. I just come out from my house one day and somebody say, don't cross that road.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, having mentioned this now, this is one aspect of it now. We do know that the chief executive of LATSMA is a retired commissioner of police.
Yeah.
And of course, there are various reasons why Arabame was put there.
Yeah.
Him having been a commissioner of police for the state, Lagos State in particular, his area of expertise, and to create a further fusion between LATSMA and the immediate agency they work with, that's the police, to have a better union with them. But let's look a step forward. Let's forget about LATSMA for now.
Yeah.
Let's look at the various federal agencies
Yes.
now on the road here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We see some ugly scenarios, which is not welcome
Yeah.
by we, the civilian public.
Yeah.
Amongst themselves, yes, they can do what they do, but however, the image and of course the impression being created is a negative one for us here in Lagos. Now I don't want to flog the issue, but one happened not too long ago. The one that took place around Badagry area.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, for now, we're not asparting blame here nor there, but such things or conflicts could be avoided.
Yes.
That is
Or
the
what
point.
are the impacts of such conflict, you know, to the society?
Now, so Roy, from your perspective,
Well, before we look at impact,
Yeah.
let's look at causes.
Okay. Okay.
Let's look
Yeah.
at causes.
Quickly, let's look at
Because when you are talking about impact, something must have made the impact.
Yeah.
Let's look at what caused that kind of thing.
are you trying
Okay.
to say that when a soldier is along the road, a policeman doesn't have the right to flag him down and stop him?
That's right.
Very
is one.
good. I'm also trying to say that the policeman that is on the road, is he on a legal duty or on an illegal duty? Are you trying to tell me that there are no cases where the policemen were themselves arrested for being on an illegal duty?
Why for sure?
Very true.
We have to, we are trying to make a palliative
Yes.
atmosphere here.
Yeah, yeah.
We are trying to grease the gray elbows and all the raw edges now. Now look at a situation where illegality has taken place in all the forces. I'm a policeman, I'm on an illegal checking point. You are a soldier man, you are escorting goods in a vehicle.
Illegally.
And all of us are on illegality.
Yes.
And there is corruption has taken bane into the society. Don't forget, there was a long time of military rule.
That's right.
In that time, the other forces were played down. They were played down. The customs, the immigrations, the
Police.
soldiers, the air force, they were in charge of the borders and everywhere. The police themselves, you know, when there's a crisis, you see soldiers coming out when there was the military regime. Okay? Now, these policemen are now in power now, so to speak,
by nature,
in
they find a
operations.
civilian, okay.
Okay? The soldiers have withdrawn to the barracks now. There was something missing. There was a gap. They did not marry the new roles. The new roles should be married. Okay, let's look at Badagry for an instance. What stops them to have like bi-weekly meetings
Okay.
for security?
Yeah.
The customs, you know, it's a border
It's a
route.
border route,
Yeah.
yeah.
So many things
Yeah.
happen on that route.
Yeah.
We must not deny the fact.
Yeah.
Smuggling,
If
robbery,
we want
everything.
to, we can drive there, we take our cameras, and you see funny shots. Now, we have a meeting within every 2 weeks where the custom man, the soldier man, the immigration, you know, when I'm driving, I have this information that, oh, they have met. This is what we discussed. Then if I see somebody that is not there, let me give you a good instance. This new commissioner that took over now, there was phone numbers that were circulated. The phone numbers carried up to LASMA, their operations phone number. And somebody was caught somewhere by a LASMA official. He was coming from the hospital. He dropped his child. All the family members were calling him. The LASMA man now said he should park. He parked. They wanted to take him to a bank for him to use his ATM.
For what?
He called me.
For
to
personal.
to pay the bills. Now I called the LASMA operations man. He was laughing. He said I should just tell him where we are, that they are coming to pick the officer, that they didn't deploy any officer to that place. I called my friend. I said just stay put. After a while, my friend told me that the guy entered the bike and
Took
zoomed
off.
off. You know, so the officers themselves that conform to rules and regulations, they are not in the know about
That's right.
The rank and file,
Yes.
what on the road. On
You
the
know,
road.
so we have to come into ourselves once in a while, sit down,
That's right.
and bring our issues out.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Richard, this
Yeah.
comes to mind now. The general public who are watching and listening to us right away, who don't have the kind of accessibility Roy
Exactly.
had with his friend now.
Exactly.
We've given out the hotline number 767 and 112 here. Now, what advice now? You see, these are issues we're looking at.
Yeah.
For the general public, how do they see and how do they enlighten?
Yeah,
get
Chooks,
through?
even thank you for this question because it's one thing I said I'm going to come up with in this program. I was reading through the Punch newspaper during the week, and a guy was, reporting the fact that he was being harassed about tinted. His car is tinted,
Tinted glass.
and it's factory fitted. That he told the officer on the road that this is factory fitted. That what the law says or what the police
What the-
officer said was that
what the Minister of Police Affairs
Minister of
said.
Police said is this, is that. The guy, they didn't want to listen, and all they did was to, drag him to the stations, and in the quest for him to move ahead and go to work and other stuff, he had to part with money. What we're saying is that when we don't have good information, we are bound to become, we are bound to be used by all those, all those illegal, government.
The bad eggs in the various security agencies.
So
okay.
what you need to do is that I keep saying it. If you are watching this program right now, you don't have the phone number of your police commissioner, you don't have the phone number of your of your DPO, or even Security 47 or any government agencies. You're on your own, because like I keep saying, things have changed. Times have gone where you'll be pushed around. We are not under military regime again. We are in democracy where your rights, you can fight for your rights. But unfortunately, Chooks, a lot of people are too scared.
Yeah, and that comes to mind. Now, Roy, now, let's go back to you now.
Yeah.
Well, our guest still remains Roy, he's a security consultant, and of course, he's here. We're looking at the various relationships within the various security agencies, federal, states, and of course, the impact on the civilian populace now. Now, Roy, what advice do you have for the teeming millions of Nigerians who live in Lagos, including foreigners who inhabit Lagos here? What can they do if they find themselves in this web
Yes.
of illegality, where they have broken the law? Because
Yes.
if you haven't broken the law, you won't be apprehended in the
That's
first
right.
instance. You have driven one way. Well, how do you now detect to know that the man who is apprehending you is on genuine legal duty functions, and the fact that you should not pay bribe? Because that's two offenses now. You've driven one way and you're offering bribe. You know, there are two offenses now.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for sitting rooms like this?
You see, one thing that has been thrown to the back door in Nigeria is consultancy. You have an estate, you live there. Somebody is providing security for that place.
That's right.
You are just concerned with seeing the guard and all. Do you know who the boss is?
That's
Do you
right.
know what the office does?
That's right.
Do you know what the consultants, the security professionals can do for you? I have people that have called me up. They have called me that, bro, see where I am, see where I am. I say, give the guy the phone. I say, hey, you are from which unit, from which station? Why are you operating there? Are you in area H? Are you in this? Are you in that? Then I start giving you terminologies that you are talking to somebody. Then I say, okay, hold on there. I'll call another officer to meet with you and verify your authenticity. Then you now start hearing anything like this, about those kind of stuff. You know, you have to consult your professionals.
First of
If you work in an organization, there are security officers there. You have to liaise with them. You have to be fed. And you have
for those
to
who
get
know
back.
the value of such security.
Yes,
outfits, yeah.
and it becomes a problem. Now, as he was talking about enlightenment too, you know, if you remember, there's a song, they say, someone please call 911 or whatever. No. Now we have programs running which people are interested in, like all the super story, all those stuff. Then you don't bring issues that will relate to me using the security emergency number.
That's right.
It should be brought. Where maybe there's a knock on the door and in the place somebody just picks and call the emergency number 767 and there's response. It will enlighten us more than what we are seeing.
Yeah, it now brings to mind, Richard, we need to get the Latsma Chief Executive on board.
That's right.
And hopefully maybe the state director for the
That's
SSS.
That's right.
And some other security agencies.
And the
If
public
possible, maybe
relation
the
officer
brigade
of,
commander
police. Yep.
of a Ikeja
Yes,
cantonment. You see, to enlighten the public on what their rights are, their obligations, and probably limitations
That's right.
would be in such security encounters.
Okay.
But be as it may, because we're running out of time, Roy.